Right, so we are going to be doing a distance formula problem. So you can see this problem. Hopefully you can see the whole thing here. On a particular day, Gabe is walking from his house to the library, then to the gymnasium, and we're asked to give the total distance of his one-way trip and then round the answer to the nearest tenth. And we're just told that 1 unit equals 1 mile. So what we have here, I'm going to zoom in here real quick. So we have this whole situation here where we're given the formula. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a two-part video here. First one, I'm going to show you this with the distance formula. And then the second one is using a Pythagorean theorem because it's on a grid line and a coordinate plane. So I will show you both ways with the two different videos. So we'll start off with the distance from Gabe's house to the library. So I am going to actually just right down here, I am going to put down Gabe's house. We'll just call that, for right now, the x1, y1. Remember, all coordinates are always x comma y. So we're just going to call that the first set, and then we're going to call the second set the library. So we're going to call this x2, y2. And you should be pretty familiar with this if you've done this with the slope formula. Sorry, this keeps going out of focus for some reason. So all we're going to do is just going to plug those numbers into the distance formula right back here. And we're going to go ahead and solve for this. So what we're going to do is we're just going to plug in numbers. So the x2 I just said was -2. So that's that number. So we're just going to plug that in here. -2. And then minus the x1, which we just said was 3. Whoop. Sorry, I'm knocking things over here. And that's going to be squared. All of these values, because they are values that are going to get squared, they are always going to end up being positive numbers. So keep that in mind, that you should not be getting negative numbers in any of these answers. Now, y2 is 1, and then y1 is 2. So we're going to do 1 minus, and then the number 2, and we're going to square that. And then we're going to take the square root of the answer there once we do it. And I'm going to just show you how this works. So again, from looking at this, now we're going to take a look at the formula. This is just from his house to the library. And then we have to do the gymnasium as well. So -2 minus 3 would give you a -5. And that's going to be squared. We're going to add that to 1 minus 2, which is going to be -1. And we're going to square that. And then that will give us the distance just from those 2 points. And then we're going to take that. So like I said, -5 squared is -5 times -5, which is 25. So again, there's your positive answer. -1 squared is -1 times -1, which is going to be a positive 1. And then we're going to do the square root of that. So the distance of this is the square root of 26. So again, we're doing this to the nearest tenth. Here's my calculator. We're going to do 26. We're going to hit the square root button, and we get about 5.1 because we're doing that to the nearest tenth. So this is going to be approximately 5.1 feet. Or no, sorry, miles, because these are worth miles. So that's going to be just from Gabe's house to the library. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to just change. We'll keep the y2, y1, the library, and we'll just call this the new y1 and x1. So we're going to do the same thing here, but we're just going to call this the new set. So we'll do a second distance formula. So our x2, again, is going to be -2. And we're going to subtract our x1, which is 0 in this case. Square that. We're going to do, I'm just going to put the square root symbol. Our y2, which is 1, minus our -3. Be careful right here because this is minus always. And then a -3, we need to make sure that we don't mess that up. -2 minus 0, obviously is going to say -2. And we're going to square that in a minute. 1 minus a -3. That is going to change the sign. That's going to become 4 now. So be careful on that one as well. Square root that. And we're going to get a distance of the square root of -2 times -2, which is positive 4. 4 times 4, which is 16. And the square root of 20, again, we're going to have an approximation because it's not a nice number. The square root is about 4.5. We're going to round that to 4.5 miles. So the distance of that is about 4.5 miles there. So if we're doing a one-way measurement, we're doing 5.1 and 4.5. And so when we do 5.1 and 4.5, we add those together and we get a total of 9.6 miles. And that would be approximately 9.6 miles to get for one way for this problem. Again, look for the second part of this, which will be me showing you how to just do this with the Pythagorean theorem. And again, check me out on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram at YouWantAlgebra, and these can be located in the Pythagorean theorem section.